Good morning, Cold City. Thanks for joining us on our breakfast show this Wednesday morning on ETV channel 50, Start Times 113, and also streaming live on Free to Air TV 502. Of course, our social media handles are there for you to go look up what we are doing, what we're sharing with you this next 1 hour. My name is Ngozika. We will bring you the spotlight, bring you the entertainment gist, and of course bring you stories from the national dailies. My name is Ngozika, Mbah. Chioma is here as well.
My name is Chioma, Agulanna. Good morning, Cold City.
We will take a break. When we return, it shall be the spotlight. Our guest is already seated, Barrister Nwabueze Ugwu. We will be back in a moment. Stay with us still. Good morning, Cold City. Thanks for joining us on the Spotlight this Wednesday morning on ETV channel 50. Like I informed you earlier on, our guest is already seated. We have on our set this morning Honorable Nwabueze Ugwu. Barrister, good morning, sir. Thanks
for joining us. Good morning, my sister. Good morning, our distinguished viewers.
Our focus shall be regulations and oversight functions of Enugu State's electricity market by Enugu State government. A couple of days ago, the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, officially transferred regulatory oversight of the Enugu electricity market to the Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission. Recall that the federal government unbundled the electricity sector, the power sector, the electricity sector from the exclusive list and make it a part of the concurrent list. And by that, states and some institutions can generate, transmit, and distribute their own electricity. Thereafter, the federal government would come down to Enugu State in a bid to launch Light Up Nigeria. The president, represented by the Vice President Chioma, was here in Enugu to launch the Light Up in Southeast. And of course, from that trip, we would move to Abia State to inaugurate or to open up, launch the geometric power company right there in Abia State. Enugu State government also passed into law the Enugu Electricity Bill. Thereafter, the commission in charge of regulating this commission was inaugurated. So Enugu State government has done a lot to get themselves prepared for what transpired about 2 days ago, where NEC actually officially transferred the regulatory oversight and the functions to Enugu State in the charge of the Electricity Regulatory Commission. And so, Barrister Nwabueze Ugwu, I'd like you to explain to our viewer what this means for the Enugu.
What this means for the Enugu, and indeed for every other person who is interested in the affairs of Enugu State, is that EEDC is no longer completely in charge of everything electricity in Enugu State. In fact, let me go back a little to say that the federal government unbundled the electricity sector during the tenure of Goodluck Jonathan. We are aware that from the National Electric Company, that company metamorphosed to NEPA, National Electric Power Authority. From there, it metamorphosed to
CN.
Power Holding Company of Nigeria. And from there, that PHCN was unbundled to several other companies and organizations. Now it was unbundled, and you now have the power generation companies. You have the power distribution companies, and you have the power transmission. Power transmission first, then the power generation, and then the power distribution. So most of what we know are the distribution companies. You have the EEDC, Enugu Electric Distribution Company. You have Ikeja Distribution Company for Lagos. You have several others, Abuja Distribution Company, Kaduna, and every geographical region. Each of the 6 geographical regions have a distribution company. So, but sometime last year, 2023, at the eve of the departure of the then president of the country, Muhammadu Buhari, he signed into law the bill that the National Assembly had passed, now transferring electricity, which used to be a part of the exclusive legislative list under Part A of the second schedule to the Constitution. Part 1, please, of the second schedule to the Constitution, now transferred it from that list to the concurrent legislative list, which is contained in the Part 2 of the second schedule to the 1999 Constitution. Meaning that EEDC is known, and in fact, yes, okay, let me take it from there. After that took place, as soon as the current governor of Enugu State, Peter Mbah, came into office, his government drafted the Enugu electric law, the Enugu electricity law. That law has been signed into law. That bill, which was passed by the State House of Assembly, has been signed into law by the governor of the state. And he followed it up by constituting the Enugu Electric Regulatory Commission, EERC. Now, the moment that was done, he reported that development to the NERC, National Electric Regulatory Commission, that the state has done so thing. Now the law requires that soon, 45 days after the state government passes such law and informs NEC that NEC will transfer tariff regulation, power tariff regulation in that state to that company. And that's exactly what NEC did some days ago. They have transferred the tariff regulation to EERC, the Enugu Electric Regulatory Commission. And the law, NEC law, the law made by the federal government, also demands that 60 days after this takes place, that the distribution company in charge of that state, you know that EEDC is in charge of the entire southeast geographical zone. So the moment that event takes place, that EEDC ought to, within 60 days, incorporate at the Corporate Affairs Commission an EEDC subco, that is sub-company, EED sub-company, that's Enugu Electric Distribution Sub-Company, which will still be a part of EEDC. That sub-company will now be liaising with EERC, the one that is owned by the state government, for everything about electricity in the state. The implication will be that to a great extent, the parent body, EEDC, has ceded, so to say, most of what they need to do in Enugu State. They've ceded it to their offshoot, which is the EED subco. That's the implication. Now, EEDC is also required to put boundary meters in all right round Enugu State, the entire boundary of Enugu State, so that whatever electricity is being consumed in Enugu State will be known through the boundary meters that EEDC will place right around the boundary, everywhere where the grid generated power moves from Enugu State into any other state, so that whatever is used in Enugu State will be known. Now, when they have done that, they will pass it on to EED subco and also to EERC. They will also take a census of the employees of the EEDC in Enugu State, also inform both their offshoot, the EED subco, as well as the Enugu Electric Regulatory Commission, EERC. Now, not only looking at the employees, also their every other thing they have, their infrastructure, the electricity generated, everything about generation of electricity. Now, there is something that is very important which we need to know. That is that for fixing of tariff in Enugu State, for power that is not generated by grid generation line, EERC is completely in charge. But for power that is sourced from the grid generated electricity, EERC, Enugu Electric Regulatory Commission, can only fix tariff with the approval of the NERC. NEC, yes. So this is very important. So, but what is important now is that with the development that has taken place in Enugu State government can license any company to start generating electricity in Enugu State, and also make plans towards the distribution and also fixed tariff, transmission, everything.
With this kind of arrangement, power generated this way from private organizations that Enugu State government has licensed, it is the Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission that will regulate it, right?
Completely.
Regulation will now not be with NEC.
No,
in this
it has no business with NEC, has no business with EEDC. It will be fully regulated by the Enugu Electric Regulatory Commission. EERC, set up by the Mbah administration.
No.
On the heels of the law passed by the State House of Assembly and assented into law last year, 2023, by the governor of the state.
Honorable, this particular arrangement is set to kick off by May 1, 2024. Do you see Enugu State as being capable and prepared to generate its own electricity, transmit it and distribute it, determine the tariff, regulate it, all the oversight functions? Are we prepared?
There is no doubt that the Mbah administration is not just prepared, but over-prepared. I say this because if you even remember, during the electioneering campaign, I did inform the people of the state and anybody that cares to know what is going on in Enugu State that Mbah is in a haste to develop Enugu State. And it is not possible for you to talk of, okay, before I even get to that, I want to take it from one prism. I want to take it from the point of fact that if you take your mind back, cast your mind back to, is it November or December 2022, when Mbah released his manifesto. he did inform the people of the state that he is determined to ensure that by the time he leaves office, there will be zero unemployment in Enugu State. How do you do that? The way it will be done is not that the state government will employ every employable person in Enugu State, no, but that the state government will not only create the enabling environment, but will make sure that there are sufficient industries and the organizations that will employ the people in Enugu State to the extent that by the time he's leaving office, there will be zero unemployment. The implication, again, to take it through another angle, is that Mbah will ensure that there are industries that will be sufficiently empowered to employ the unemployed people in Enugu State, and these industries will be sufficient to ensure that all these persons are employed. That's the implication of the statement of making sure that there is zero unemployment. Now, how does it come about? It's not possible for you to build industries and get these industries to function if there's no power. Power is key. Power is number one. That's why as soon as Mbah came, he made electricity a priority. That's why even before he came, he had it in his mind. He had done the skeletal bill, and as soon as he came in, flesh was given to that bill and sent to the State House of Assembly, and they immediately, without wasting time, passed it into law, and Mbah signed the law, and this is the outcome. That is to show that the man is prepared.
Do you think that this move will cure the epileptic power supply that we've been experiencing so far in Enugu State?
It's not just that it will cure the epileptic power supply, it will totally eradicate it. It will completely eradicate epileptic power supply. If you do not have 24 hours power supply, you do not expect any investor to bring in his money into a place and invest it. Because at the end of the day, he is not only will he not get return on his investment, he may probably even lose his investment. And no investor will do that. No investor anywhere in the world